Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to introduce the new formula from Clarins of the double serum but light texture, and I'm going to review and compare the differences between the two versions, the original double serum versus the light texture of the double serum. So let's jump right in. So a little bit background information about this serum is that this is probably the most concentrated serum across the different brands on the market, and this is the best seller from Clarins that I have been used more than 10 years, and this is actually my favorite serum. So the only caveat from the old formula is that, because it has a lot of the synthetic oil-based ingredients in there, so sometimes it just it's so condensed and concentrated, it causes of the acne issue for some of the the acne prone skin. So in that sense, maybe that's why it caused the manufacturer to change the formula for those who prefer the lighter texture. So that is some kind of background information, and in today's video, I'm going to review the difference in these two products from three aspects. Number one is the ingredients difference. Actually, I see a lot of ingredients, quite some difference over there. And number two is the outlook and the try-on my skin. And number three is the combination of this serum together with other moisturizers, and I'll show you the difference and you can visualize them by yourselves. So let's begin. And when you look at the external packaging of these two formula, you can see that the right one has the verbiage here says light texture. So this is an easy way to differentiate the new formula from the original one. So the original one just says double serum, and the bottom verbiage says complete age control concentrate. And this is another difference from the packaging perspective from the new formula. The new formula says here complete age defying concentrate. So that is a two difference from the external packaging. And then moving on to the ingredients difference. Now let's get to the differences on the ingredient lists. So the left one, the smaller box, is the old formula versus the right one is the new formula. So basically I focused on the ingredients comparison before the perfume or the fragrance ingredient here, like I highlighted here. So on the new formula, the fragrance marks here, fragrance, perfume. So you can see before that there are quite some differences in terms of those composition of the formula. So basically the old formula has a lot of the synthetic oil-based ingredients. So the whole texture is thicker or more like lipophilic. And versus the right one, you see here the immediate differences here is the addition of alkane and andocane, which is more like the skin emollient, and the solvent to make the whole formula more fluid or less viscous. So, and then anything behind this perfume list is less than 1% in the total percentage of the weight of the formula. So it's more of a trivial or like kind of a supplemental in the ingredient. So let's just focus on the ingredient before that, before the perfume list. And you see, besides that, there are other tridecane and other solvent or skin conditioning kind of ingredient to make the whole thing more smooth to apply and more fluid on your skin. So that is the biggest difference between these two from the ingredient list at least. So Now, let's visualize the difference between the serum itself of the old formula versus the new one. So the left one is the old formula and the right one is the new formula. Maybe maybe you can see it behind the screen that the left formula, the old formula is actually seems more condensed than the right one, in the sense that the brownish color is more intense than the new formula. Maybe it's better to illustrate it on my arm. So let's test them out on my hand. I get 1 pump of the old formula on the left and 1 pump of the new formula on the right. And I tilt my hand to let it drip. You see, it's very obvious that the new formula does drip more quickly than the old formula. So it means that the viscosity-wise, it's less viscous than the old formula. Let's also observe the color and the textures between these two. Clearly, the old formula on the left does seem to be more intense in the color, and it does seem to be more greasy and concentrated than the new formula. In the old formula, because it has more skin emollients and the solvents in it, so it does look like it's more well mixed between the hydrophilic components and the lipophilic components. Despite the difference between the two formula, after massaging onto the skin, both formula will keep the skin moisturized and illuminating. And you can see the clear difference between the skin without any of the serum compared to the skin part with either of the old or the new formula. The third part of the review will test out the compatibility of the serum with the different moisturizer. And the first one I'm going to test out is using the classic Creme de la Mer, because this cream is usually working the best with the oil-based serum. So let's just try out this moisturizer to go with both old formula and the new formula of the Clarins Double Serum Concentrate, to see in this type of moisturizer which one will work the best. So let's just use different part of my arm to test it out. And first I'm going to dispense this old formula on top of the Creme de la Mer, and I'm going to also dispense another pump of the new formula on top of the moisturizer Creme de la Mer. And now I'm going to mix them together to see which one is more mixable or compatible, if you will. So the left part obviously is the moisturizer La Mer mixing together with the old formula of the double serum, and you can see right now it's transparent or clear, which means it's forming a uniform texture or mixture. And on the right I'm gonna do the same, and you see that it's super fluid and very water-like, so it's just dripping towards the bottom of my arm. And for this part of the formula, it's also easy to mix them with the moisturizer. But somehow during this conduct or experiment, I feel that, maybe you can visualize yourself. The left part, because of its viscous or oil, more like condensed in the oil, so it can sit nicely to form a kind of a greasy paste sitting nicely on my arm, versus the new formula, because it's having more hydrophilic or water-based ingredients, so it's actually kind of fluid around, dripping around, so it's forming a thinner layer onto my skin. Hopefully you can see the difference. But the bottom line is, at the end of the massaging or mixing, both formula can blend nicely with the moisturizer without any problem. So this is nice. So my review conclusion is that both formulas are good formula, but I just prefer the old formula simply because it's just more concentrated in terms of the active ingredients. And like I said before, I have been using the old formula for 10 years without any acne issue, so I really trusted this brand and the serum. Maybe one advantage of the new formula is the light texture, and it's probably more suitable for the summer wear. As is consistent with ingredient list, the new formula with a light texture does have more of the skin emollient and conditioning ingredient in it, so it's more solvent and fluid than the old formula. That is another advantage for you to consider. That's all for today's video. Hopefully you like it, and don't forget to give me comments and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!